it's chilly over here, guys, but that's a present I get from the beast from the east. For those of you who don't know what the beast from the east is, that's the current cold weather that we have, which blew from Siberia, something like that, from Russia. Not only are they exporting hackers and spies and stuff to our countries, but they're also exporting their bad weather. So, yeah. Russia, god damn it. But anyway, it's your boy. How you doing, guys? I'm doing well. Unlucky for us, not everybody on YouTube is doing very well. Now, I'm not talking about the apocalypse, although that has a lot of things to do with that, but I'm talking about the recent flagging, the recent terminations of loads of channels directly related to not only the Florida state shooting that occurred, but also gun control and just being the gun channel in general. Now, thankfully, Forgotten Weapons was not harmed. Don't strike him down, YouTube. He's too pure for this world. So basically, loads of people have been flagged. Some have had their first strike, some have had their second, some have had their third and been terminated. Others have been terminated out of the blue, and others have, like Sargon for example, been banned from their Google account and are unable to access their YouTube channels, even though their channels are still on there. Now, YouTube has apparently come out, and this was in the Bloomberg article, and said that this was an accident. We didn't mean for any of this. We didn't mean to censor any of the content. Please forgive us, YouTubers, because apparently we gave enough of a stink to them that they realised that they've either made a mistake or perhaps, potentially, there was a problem with the algorithms and they've had to come out and say, sorry, there was a mistake made. Apparently it was the people that they now employ. So the 10,000 people, they're claiming it's some of the 10,000 people went a bit overboard and they've had to rein them in. But it could also be an algorithm problem as well, because we do know that the algorithm isn't as sophisticated as a lot of people think it is. So, for example, it's not very good with sarcasm, it's not very good with satire, it can't tell the difference. And in fact, with the gun channels, potentially they were taken down because the algorithm saw, guns being fired and assumed it was combat footage, even though it's a guy in his backyard or his shooting range shooting a gun. But it's just so weird that it's all happened simultaneously and over the course of a couple of days, because I know that a few people have been struck, not just once or twice. I think Sinatra has had a few. This isn't his only one that has appeared out of the blue. I know that a lot of the other right-wing channels, conservative channels, or even channels like Sargon that isn't right-wing, they've had problems as well, and it's affected everybody. In fact, on the one hand, we've got channels like me who are complaining about what could be censorship and the fact that YouTube can't get their act together. And then we've got even the HEWs complaining. Now, they're complaining that it was an accident and they wanted it to be on purpose, but whatever, But even then, YouTube, get your act together. Fix your algorithms so that they can actually deal with the actual content you want to get rid of. Well, at least that you say you want to get rid of, the ISIS training camp stuff, the combat material that's usually on Live Leak and other things like that. Or you just come out and say that, yeah, we don't want these conservative views on our website. We don't want pro-gun people. Apparently, they've been under a lot of pressure to terminate the NRA's official YouTube channel, which is ridiculous because the NRA have not broken any guidelines. I mean, as far as I'm aware, gun channels are actually, of the terms of service, they are allowed to do what they can do, as long as it's not, combat, I assume, or violence. It's not actually violence, it's just shooting at a target. That's not a violent act, is it, really? They're just testing out a gun, see if it works. Or proving that they're very good shots, that they can get, a certain target, or in a window, I forgot what they call it, what the bloke on the range does, with his mad minutes, things like that. Either you come out and say that you don't want anything like that because of your politics, because we know who runs Alphabet, Google and YouTube. But the thing is, YouTube's under a lot of pressure to sort out their website, to clean it up for the advertisers. Those advertisers that are unwilling to advertise on a Filthy Frank video, or my video, or Sargon's videos, or Millennial Woe's videos, but they'll advertise on the Channel 4 debate show, which might have some far-right voices on there if they're ever given the platform. They will advertise on Game of Thrones, which shows violent and sexual content that YouTube doesn't like. They'll advertise on CNN, which shows combat death and misery and famine and all those other things, because apparently it's okay when corporations do it, but when the person does it, when the person wants to show these things and do the exact same thing, no, apparently not. That's not good. That is haram. And apparently YouTube has to clean us up, and they're under a lot of pressure because of that. The thing is, they've employed all these people. They've employed 10,000 people, and a lot of them can't do their own jobs properly. This is why I think that the answer to their problems is not employing 10,000 people to police the site. I mean, you know, people like Trusted Flagger on Twitter, he's pretty good, you know. He seems to be pretty fair and helps people regardless of their, like, political affiliation, it seems. Especially if they were flagged unfairly, or they've been terminated unfairly, or randomly if there was a glitch in the system, as they like to say. Why don't they just use the actual YouTube community itself to police the community? It's pretty clear that we have a far more of an understanding about what's going on YouTube than the company does. Because it's pretty clear that from the recent scandals, it's their end that has a problem, not our end. Because we're the ones that are reporting them the paedophilia, the pornography, all the, you know, violent content that's not meant to be on here. I mean, you can have, like, artistic violence, I think, to some extent. I mean, there's strict guidelines on that, I think. But, you know, the actual real shit, you know, beheadings and stuff, you know, we're the ones that actually know where that is and can find it much more easily than YouTube can. But for some reason, they don't trust us enough to police ourselves. We have to be policed instead. So when the paedophilia thing happened and the toy channels scandal happened, you know, rather than listen to us at the beginning, and this could have been solved easily and quietly without a huge media kerfuffle, instead there was a huge media kerfuffle because people were constantly trying to contact YouTube, and this ended up leading into the media because people made videos on it, and the legacy media do actually watch us to some extent. This is how they end up getting the material for their hit pieces. I mean, they watched PewDiePie for a reason, and this created the next scandal. And then YouTube punished everybody for the actions of a few, and if they'd only listened to us, we wouldn't have been in that position in the first place. In fact, we wouldn't be in this position in the first place if they'd been forthright with us, if they'd always been a bit more consumer-friendly and user-friendly and honest and open with us. But hey, you know, it's hindsight, isn't it? It's 50-50, and unfortunately for them, the time is too late. You can say better late than never, and they've made promises to be more open with us, but I feel like it's come at too late a time. And I think in the end they're going to reap what they sow, because we're all going to end up eventually trying to find some kind of alternative platform, although I don't think one will actually turn up. I'm one of those cynics who thinks that no platform will be able to eclipse YouTube unless YouTube itself folds, and that leads a vacuum to appear and others can rush into it. Because from what I've seen, BitChute isn't worth it. It's only good to mirror your videos there. It's not a viable platform for me, personally. Its layout is clunky, doesn't make much sense how you make your channels, and, you know, it has a long way to go, and it could end up going the way of VidMe. VidMe died, and it was never that good anyway. Dailymotion is Dailymotion. It somehow keeps trucking along, but it's French owned, so it's going to be censored anyway because of their government and their country's guidelines. YouTube, thankfully, runs along American law, although because the First Amendment only applies to the government for some reason, even though it should be applied to corporations too, in my opinion, because it's written in the Constitution. It is a law for a reason. I don't know. You know, you have a bit more leeway on here. Dailymotion, I really don't see that as viable. It has barely grown at all. It's not even competition to YouTube. What else have we got? Oh yes, we have Vimeo, which is a paid service. It's really for people in the industry, the media industry, the film industry, the music industry, things like that. Not really for people like us, who aren't part of the industry, who are just ourselves. We run our own businesses, or we just do this as a hobby, or are looking to do this as a job or something. Yeah, Vimeo's probably not the place. Twitch is more censorious than YouTube and has even more double standards. You think YouTube's double standards are bad? At least they actually punished the Paul brothers, or at least Logan Paul. At least they did punish PewDiePie, even though I think it was wrong to punish him. I don't think he did anything wrong. They still punished their biggest YouTube content creator. But no, Twitch, you know, their guidelines are super strict and actually very conservative for a left-wing organisation. I mean, you're not actually supposed to do the thought things that a lot of the stereotypical female Twitch streamers do, but they do it. They do it. And they get away with it because the Twitch higher-ups love it and it makes them money. And now they're trying to increase that by giving grants. And also, they will remove your channel if you so much as infract just a little bit of those rules. It's not viable, and also you can't really make video content on there yet anyway, you can only stream. And even then, YouTube's catching up to them with super chats and things, and eventually YouTube's streaming service will probably get better. So yeah, Twitch is on borrowed time, and that's probably going to go the way of Twitter soon. So basically, there's no alternative. They're either too small, too censorious, not big enough, or they're just going to end up folding because they can't afford it. Because it's an expensive business, video content creating. It's expensive, not just for us who are making it, but the people who are hosting it. YouTube's never had a profit. It's never had a profit. I think the closest it ever got to was pre-Adpocalypse. And look where we are now. So what do I think? Was it on purpose or an accident? It's probably a bit of both. The algorithm is unstable and unreliable, and also human error. Let's not forget that. But we know that they have a guideline, and we know that due to the controversy that's going on, Google has been censoring just the word gun. Like, look at the marketplace. In Google Marketplace, if you type in gun, guns don't show up. If you type in gain, or whatever somebody typed in on Twitter that was a wrongly spelt version of gun, you come up with guns. That's probably a part of that. The gun channels were probably targeted on purpose. Although the algorithm probably, and maybe some of the trusted flaggers, probably were a bit overzealous or glitched out on a lot of them. And we have this end result here. But who knows? We won't know unless it gets leaked to us. So there's that then. Sorry for the lighting going a bit wonky in the end. My light bulbs ran out, so I need to charge their batteries. And anyway, apart from that, not much to say on this story. Tune in next time. Give me a like, give me a comment, share the video, donate to my Maker support if you want to see me do this full time. And until next time, see you later.